Hey everyone, welcome to This Explainer. I am absolutely thrilled you're tuning in today because, well, we're going to tackle something that literally affects every single one of us, our memory. If you've ever felt like your brain is a bit of a leaky sieve, trust me, you are not alone. But today we're moving way past those simple repetition tricks. We're going to build a complete, actionable, and holistic toolkit for your long-term brain health. We're looking at the hard science and the everyday habits that can genuinely rewire your mind for success.
Picture this, it's a super relatable scenario. You meet someone new, you shake their hand, they say their name, and literally 3 seconds later, it's completely gone. Poof! Why does that happen? Well, it actually boils down to a biological problem of cognitive overload. Our modern world just floods our brains with an insane amount of data, and our conscious working memory gets completely overwhelmed trying to hold on to it all. But don't worry, there is a comprehensive, scientifically backed way to fix this, and it involves treating your brain as one whole interconnected system.
Okay, let's dive into this roadmap. We're going to start by tapping into the subconscious mind, then move on to mindfulness and meditation, hit the mental gym with some neurobics, check out physical brain fuel, and wrap it all up with daily memory habits. Let's get into it.
Starting right off with Section 1, tapping the subconscious mind.
I want you to imagine your mind like a massive iceberg. The conscious part, the part you're actually aware of, is just the tiny tip sticking out of the water. It basically acts as a temporary pass-through, taking in stuff like that new name you just heard and deciding whether to keep it. But that massive structure hidden beneath the surface, that's your subconscious mind, and that is where deep storage happens. Now, what's fascinating is that your subconscious is totally governed by your core beliefs and emotions. If it secretly believes you have a terrible memory, or if a learning experience is stressful, it will actually block your conscious mind from locking in that new info. It is the ultimate gatekeeper of whether memory is kept or tossed out.
To prove just how powerful this internal system is, try this with me. Go ahead and close your eyes for a quick second. I want you to vividly imagine holding a bright yellow, freezing cold lemon. Now imagine slicing it open, bringing it right up to your mouth, and taking a huge, juicy bite of that intensely sour fruit. Did your mouth just water a bit? Did you kind of wince? That physical reaction happens because, chemically speaking, your brain doesn't actually distinguish between a vividly imagined event and reality. It treats your visualization as a real, lived experience. So since the brain can't tell the difference between reality and imagination, we can use that to actively reprogram our subconscious and ditch those limiting beliefs. It takes 3 simple steps. First, meditate to calm your mind and cut through all that daily static. Second, visualize specific, successful scenarios. Picture yourself flawlessly recalling everyone's name at a party and really make that emotion feel real. And third, use present tense positive affirmations. Speak as if you already have this incredible memory. Feeding your brain this positive imagery builds the exact foundation you need to retain information effortlessly.
Moving right up to the active software of our brain, we have Section 2, Mindfulness and Meditation, and how it actively shields your memory.
And this brilliantly illustrates the point we're making here. Meditation isn't just about relaxation, it's a hard science cognitive necessity. Look at this study by Amishi Jha on U.S. Marines preparing for deployment, obviously a highly stressful situation. The group that meditated 30 minutes a day saw higher working memory scores and maintained a positive mood. On the flip side, the group that meditated only 20 minutes a week actually saw their memory scores drop and their stress levels spike. Daily mindfulness literally shields and even expands your working memory when you are under extreme pressure.
This protective effect leads us to a really cool concept we can call mental yoga. You see, our brains run on a dual mechanism. When you're fiercely concentrating on a task, you're using your task positive network, or TPN. But here's the catch. You can't just leave the TPN switched on all the time. That leads straight to cognitive exhaustion. Mental yoga means deliberately switching gears over to your task negative network, the TNN, which turns on during restful daydreaming or deep meditation. Bouncing between these two is absolutely vital. Letting your mind wander without external input lets your brain properly consolidate memories and prevents the mental burnout that makes us forget things in the first place.
All right, let's get into the physical cross-training of the brain. Section 3, Neurobics and Brain Games. Now, neurobics isn't about sitting alone and taking some boring standardized logic test. It's about deliberately using your neglected senses, like smell, touch, and taste, in totally novel ways. Most of us just rely on sight and sound to coast through our daily routines, right? But when we introduce an unexpected sensory experience into an ordinary task, we force our brain off autopilot. This actively kicks off the production of natural brain nutrients called neurophins. And those little guys literally help grow new dendrites, which are the branches on your nerve cells that form the very foundation of your memory. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is how it all connects. When you engage multiple senses at the exact same time, you're building a really robust neural safety net. You're not just throwing a memory into one single box. If you meet someone and only use visual cues to remember them, that single pathway weakens easily as we get older. But if you intentionally notice the firmness of their handshake, or maybe the specific scent of the room you're in, you are weaving a much wider associative net. You've just created multiple alternate neural pathways to access that one single memory later on.
So how do we actually practice neurobics? It's incredibly simple and honestly kind of fun. Try getting dressed tomorrow morning with your eyes closed, relying purely on touch. Just, double check that your socks match before you leave the house. Or eat a meal with your family in total silence to really heighten your sense of taste and your visual awareness. You could draw a map of your neighborhood entirely from memory, or even combine a specific aroma like peppermint or vanilla with a certain piece of music while you're learning something new. These simple little brain games break your routine, jolt your neurons awake, and actively build up that cognitive reserve. Okay, moving on to the physical hardware of the brain. Section 4, Lifestyle and Brain Fuel. Think of your brain as a high-performance sports car. It is literally built out of what you consume. You can't expect top-tier cognitive output if you're starving your physical hardware, right? To actively boost your memory function, you've got to dial in your daily nutrition. A diet packed with veggies, fruits, and whole grains is a great start, but you specifically need healthy fats. We're talking foods like nuts, fish, almonds, and olive oil. These provide the vital omega-3 fatty acids that are absolutely crucial for the structural health of your brain and smooth neural communication.
But hey, fuel isn't just what's on your plate, it's how you treat your whole body. Let's look at this stark contrast. An aerobic, well-rested brain actually grows. Aerobic exercise triggers something called hippocampal neurogenesis. That's just a fancy way of saying you are physically growing brand new brain cells right in your memory center. Add in some good sleep and your memory consolidation is at its absolute peak. On the flip side, chronic stress and regular alcohol consumption are just incredibly destructive. Studies show people who drink regularly make about 30% more memory mistakes, and alcohol actually stops short-term memories from converting into long-term ones while literally reducing your overall brain cell size. The choice between building your brain up and shrinking it down is in your daily lifestyle habits.
Which brings us right into our final section, Section 5, Daily Memory Habits. Here are some super practical discipline tips to lock all of this in without getting totally overwhelmed. First up, embrace memory minimalism. Look, you don't need to try and remember every single minor detail of your day. Respect your limits, reduce that cognitive overload, and just focus on what actually matters. Second, take early morning walks. That early sunlight actually sets your brain's circadian clock, which guarantees you get that vital, memory-consolidating sleep later at night. Plus, the exercise pumps fresh oxygen straight to your brain. And finally, don't try to do a dozen brain games every single day. Just pick 1 or 2 neurobic items from the menu. Consistency, not intensity, is what builds long-term neural pathways.
So the big takeaway is this. Your brain's health and the sharpness of your memory are not fixed at birth, and they absolutely do not have to decline as you get older. By tapping into your subconscious, practicing daily mindfulness, firing up all your senses with neurobotics, and giving your body the right fuel, you have total control over your cognitive destiny. An active brain is a healthy brain. The tools are literally right in front of you. The only question left is, will you use it or lose it? Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer, and seriously, I highly encourage you to go try out one of those neurobotic exercises today.